Okay, let's bring in former Labor Secretary Alex Acosta and the partner and co-founder of Flynn Zito Capital Management, Doug Flynn. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Secretary, let's start with you. What's going on here? Break it down for us. And is this going to disrupt the supply chain for everyone waiting for the gifts?
Well, this is there's so many stories behind this. First, let me say, for the most part, it's not going to disrupt the supply chain. The Teamsters represent a very small number of Amazon employees. The strike, I believe, is taking place in 7 facilities. So you're going to get your Christmas presents and your holiday presents largely on time, with some exceptions. All that said, if you look at Amazon and its history, it's had a history of problems in the labor space, not just with unions, but in non-unionized facilities as well. Amazon does not have clean hands on this issue. And the Teamsters at this point seem to just be asking for meetings. They want firm dates on when they can sit down and negotiate. And so this is really a complicated issue.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Doug, Amazon also did say, similar to what the secretary said, that there is no real concern about delivery delays. So I know a lot of people probably sighing or a sigh of relief, I should say. But how does something like this, again, since it is so complicated, how does something like this get solved? And when do you anticipate it will?
Yeah, well, it started with them trying to unionize the workforce, which they made just a little bit of inroads. And part of the problem here is that a lot of these workers that are striking are actually third-party independent contractors, which is why Amazon keeps saying these are not our employees. But knowing that was bubbling up, they did raise how much they were paying these workers and increase some health care benefits. And as mentioned, they have had a history of overworking people, and they've put money toward that. So I think, they're feeling like we're already paying a lot, above average wages. We will be willing to do more, but naturally, not with the force of this. But the union's making it like there's thousands and thousands, or a very big percentage of the workers here, and that just really isn't the case. But of course, they're going to try to flex whatever muscle they can and do it at a time when they can do some damage. So I think they'll come to something that maybe will give them a little bit of a bump, but basically makes them go away, because they don't really control it as much as they're making everybody think they do.
Yeah, well, if you're going to strike, probably need some leverage.
Yes,
timing
absolutely.
is one. Secretary, let's get to this. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, he was actually just spotted at Mar-a-Lago last night. It's reported that he and Trump had dinner together before a highly anticipated meeting. What do you make of so many CEOs wanting to reach out to Trump this time around? I know back in 2017, he disbanded some of his economic councils that he put together. CEOs, they backed out after certain things had happened. It's much different this time around, no?
Well, it's different now that President Trump has won the election. It's amazing, just 6 months ago, how many CEOs were supporting his opponent. Now that he's won, all of a sudden they're flipping, they're donating $1 million to his inaugural. Multiple $1 million donations have come in. This goes to show, business right now understands President Trump's in the driver's seat. He is president. We have a Republican Congress coming in, a Republican Senate. But President Trump knows where they stood. He knows what their positions are, and he's going to do what's right for America. A dinner and a donation is not going to change President Trump's positions.
I want to get to this. A lot of people, critics of Elon Musk, let's flip the script here a little bit, Doug, are saying that Elon Musk is running the show behind the scenes and that Donald Trump is answering to Elon Musk. That just sounds completely far-fetched and preposterous. We're talking about Donald Trump here. He just doesn't do that. But your reaction to that, what do you think about it?
He definitely has the president's ear, and I think that, one of the ways that Trump is going to succeed is if he can get the corporate tax rate lower. That's going to put a lot of money into the corporations' pockets that they can then use to offset some of the tariffs and other things and keep the costs down so inflation doesn't get out of control. And so the other way that you're going to do that is he's basically trying to make this as pro-growth and economy as possible. And the other way you do that is keep a lid on costs. As anybody who's ever run a business knows, of course, you have to drive the top line and the revenue, but you also have to mind the cost. So if you're decreasing regulation and you can cut some costs and put the wind at your back in that way, and then offset some of those expenses, I think that's basically his plan, is to grow his way out of it, get that GDP up from 2%, which it's been basically for 20 years, get that to 3 or 4%. And that solves a ton of problems in this country and what we can pay for and what we can do. And I think all of this goes towards that bigger picture.
All right, got to leave it there. Secretary
Yeah.
Doug, thanks for coming on.